Students, we're coming back from our break. I hope you had a good break last week. And we're starting course week 8, so that's October 13th through the 19th. I'm going to be short with this today. Just a couple things, show you what you're working on. We'll talk a little bit about sensation and perception is the difference between the two, and make sure you know what you got coming up. So this week, you're going to do a little discussion forum. It's kind of test your awareness. Interesting. I don't know. Some of you have seen this before, but I find it very, very interesting, and I don't want to give it away. Principles of sensation concept map you're going to work on. You're going to work on vision. Notice that this has 2 days, so this should take you a total of 10 minutes to do. Principles of sensation will take, it will take a class, although it is a rather short concept map. The vision concept map, there's some diagrams in here to help you. You'll see them attached down here, an eye diagram, a retina to brain diagram. So this one is a little bit longer and more complicated. That's why I put, Tuesday. I didn't say due until Wednesday. Remember, it doesn't have to be exactly on Wednesday, but the idea is that I think you'll need more time. So you'll need kind of two 45, 50-minute sessions to complete that. This will take less time, hopefully, because it's just to summarize what you learned. So to take your concept map and change it into a paragraph form and describe how you see what you see. Remember, I want to see how you write it, right? I know that AI can write this very well. I'm not looking for perfection in your sentence structure or an overly complicated vocabulary. I just really want to see that you can trace, light from outside of your eye, through the eye, the parts of the eye, and into your brain. And then the next one you're going to work on, and maybe this doesn't take you all of Thursday to do, and you get a little bit started, because this is also a little bit longer, not as long as vision, but on hearing and vestibular. Vestibular being the feeling in your inner ear of balance. That's why they're related. So sometimes, if we're sick and we have a little bit of congestion in our ears, we'll start to feel dizzy because we have this sense of balance in our ears. So you're going to do those two, and that's what you're working on. I want to hit on just a few key points while I got you here to really help you keep this stuff in check in your mind. Is sensation, is the physical things, the stuff going on outside of us. It's our material world coming through our sense organs. So vision, visual sight. Auditory is what we refer to for sound. Olfaction sounds complicated, but it's just smell, taste, and touch. So how the stuff, sensory information from the environment, makes it into us. Perception is how our brain interprets all that information. And it's really important to keep in mind that we have way more sensory information coming in than our brain actually deals with. So you're going to look at that over the course of a couple weeks. We start with how the senses work, and then we move towards how do we organize to perceive. 2 more terms I just want to hit at because they're a little bit confusing. One is absolute threshold. This is the weakest amount of stimulus that a person can detect, but how they define detection is pretty interesting, because that's why I say what's missing. It's because it's what we can detect 50% of the time. So it's something kind of like, is it there? Is it not there, right? So half of the time we notice it being there, and half of the time we don't notice it. And I have some examples here. You can see how, this is it there? Is it not there? Of sight, the absolute threshold is seeing a candle flame 30 miles away on a clear night. Right? Is that a candle? Is that not a candle? Right? Do I see that? Do I not see that? That's absolute threshold. Hearing a watch ticking 20 feet away. Do I hear ticking? Do I not hear ticking? Touch, feeling a bee's wing falling a distance of 1 centimeter onto your cheek. Right? Do I feel something? Do I not feel something? Smelling a drop of perfume in a 3-room house. Right? Does that smell or does it not smell? And tasting 1 teaspoon of sugar dissolved in 2 gallons of water. Right? So do I taste something sweet or do I not? So absolute threshold is the weakest amount detected half of the time, or 50%. And we have to contrast this with something called the difference threshold. This also can be termed just noticeable difference, JND. And this would be the minimum difference between two stimuli. And we're detecting it again 50% of the time. So sometimes we might notice a difference and sometimes we might not notice a difference. And I ask you, can you think of some examples for these, right? We don't have, right, sound. Do I notice a difference or do I not? The easiest one for me, because I like to cook, and I'll give you this example, is tasting something. So like you're cooking, let's say a tomato sauce, and you add a little bit of salt, and you don't notice a difference because you're under that just noticeable difference, right? I didn't add enough salt to make it taste saltier, so I don't notice it. And I always go to my kids at this point, because if I just keep adding salt slightly under my just noticeable difference, I could end up making my sauce too salty to eat. I'm not noticing it because I'm tasting, adding salt, tasting, adding salt. But if I say to one of my kids, hey, taste this, does it taste salty enough? Because it's the first time they're tasting it, they won't have that issue. So we have to make sure when we're talking about the principles of sensation and perception that we understand what is absolute threshold and what is difference threshold. So I hope that helps you get started with this week. And if you have any questions, let me know.